It's Moda Miami weekend here in Coral Gables, Florida. Day one is just about to kick off. We're going to get into the show field in a little bit. We're just now arriving here in front of the Biltmore Hotel that this event is being hosted in partnership with, and there are some awesome cars out in the parking lots and in the valet spots here that we can look at. But overall, we're going to check out some of the awesome vehicles that are showing up on display. Exotics, hypercars, vintage sports cars, everything in between. There's gonna be so much to check out. Super excited. My first time at the show. Last year, 2024, was the first of the Moda Miami show. So this is only in its second year now. So anyway, stick around and check out some of the highlights from Moda Miami 2025. So kicking off, just outside the hotel here, we have some wild cars parked up in front with the valet. Absolutely insane spec on this McLaren Senna GTR out front. But the craziest thing here that I'm excited to take a closer look at is this, the SSC Tuatara. This is the striker model, to be specific, that has some extra aero treatment. This, of course, is the newest hypercar, top speed focused, high power machine from Shelby Supercars. You can see Jared Shelby there standing in front of the vehicle as well. But this car is pretty insane, going to be limited to 100 units. Fully exposed with the clamshell open and everything. Here's a look at the interior. Racing harnesses, of course. The long-awaited replacement for the SSC Ultimate Aero that took the top speed run nearly 20 years ago, around 257 miles an hour. We also have this new creation, the TWR Supercat, revealed not too long ago, a collaboration from TWR, their ground-up creation, actually, limited to 88 units, from Tom Walkinshaw Racing, the company that would frequently partner with Jaguar's Motorsports days on vehicles like the XJR 15 and their Le Mans racers like the XJR 9 and 11 and many more. Very, very cool. Obviously, this is basically a tribute to some of the IMSA era racing cars, of which Jaguar had one of their own, the XJR 4, based on the XJS, of course, the full-size XJS coupe. So this is basically maintaining that spirit with the V12 powertrain, racing-inspired styling, looking incredibly aggressive, carbon fiber bodywork, and, you know, a full ground-up creation. I mean, this goes beyond resto-mod. It's cool to see that they brought one of these out here. Look at that big built-in ducktail spoiler back here.
Yeah, slightly altered XJR.
That's pretty mean.
Yeah, so I'm not TWR.
Fully custom interior, of course. How much of that you can see. And just walking into the show field entrance, we have some amazing cars. Ferrari 275 GTB, Ferrari Daytona Spider over here, a Lamborghini Diablo GT, one of 80. This one from the team at Curated.
Let's just go into the show. We'll see
Wow.
if have crazy stuff in the show.
That looks so cool. I love the GT. That's my favorite Lamborghini of all time. And then we have a Mercedes-McLaren SLR 722S Roadster. I believe this is the McLaren edition, based on the wheels. So cool. I've seen an orange one of these many, many years ago. All right, so I have to highlight this for a minute. On display here for the auction preview from the team at RM Sotheby's, this is the Porsche 968 Turbo S. One of the rarest production Porsches in their entire history. Only 14 of these made in the mid-90s, and my personal favorite of the front engine Porsche coupes from that era. Starting, of course, with the 924 originally, and then the 944, the 968, offered as both a coupe and convertible, was the final iteration of that model line. And I've always loved the 968 the most. It's got the sort of 928 style pop-up lights here that like rise up as a tilt when you turn on the lights, and it just looks so good. And the Turbo S is the pinnacle of all 968s. Never seen one before. These things command massive, massive money that you might not otherwise expect unless you really know what you're looking at. But of course it has the turbo style wheels and wide body and overall aggression. That is so cool to see. All right, absolutely immense lineup of cars over here. Starting with this one of 75 Mercedes McLaren SLR Sterling Moss Speedsters. That is a pretty amazing car. Followed by 918 Spider, McLaren P1 in Papaya Orange, Pagani Huayra Roadster, and this, the Bugatti Divo, one of 40 in the launch spec, the frozen gray with the blue accents and the French flag accent there on the lower air fin. And check out the split interior color here, the blue versus the gray between driver and passenger. That is amazing to see. Never seen one of these. The GT3 equivalent of the Bugatti Chiron, effectively. That is so cool. And then we have a Diablo VT Roadster next to an Enzo, next to a pair of Speedtails. Very cool. The teardrop high-speed shaped special from the McLaren Ultimate Series. You can see the arrow blade fixed to the front wheel here on this example, but then removed on this one. And just love these flexing wings here at the back of the bodywork that are active. Such a cool piece of engineering. And then, holy shit, this is cool. So this is the Jaguar XJR15, a collaboration in the 90s from TWR and Jaguar. After being famous in their motorsports days with the silk cut Jags like the XJR 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, the 15 was this model here. It never actually became a full-on Le Mans racer like the rest of the vehicles, but was made into, I think, around 30 examples or so of a road-going, effectively homologation supercar here. Just look how intense this thing is. I mean, it's a mid-mounted V12, of course, like the race cars in the series, with an incredibly narrow racing cockpit there, as you can tell. Just imagine the visceral experience driving this thing. You have to wear headphones to be able to even hear anything in here. It's so loud and intense. There's the engine peeking out back there. That is so cool to see. Never seen one of these before. Another insane lineup of cars over here. We have the Porsche 935 in a Marlboro livery, one of 77 based on the GT2 RS. Next to matching livery McLarens, a P1 GTR, Senna GTR. These are Lenzante vehicles here, which means they've been made road legal, which is insane. Imagine driving these on the road. Just the intense aero treatments on these vehicles is always so cool to see. I love the front splitter and the canards here on the Senna GTR. So cool. And then this, okay, so a Huayra, this is a BC Roadster. The Quaranta is the official name given to this spec. I'm not sure what that points to exactly, but they only make 40 of these BC Roadsters, the more intense open top version of the Huayra, with, of course, tricolore color schemes spread across it and the bare carbon. And then, oh wow, so this is a Utopia next to it. Their newest car, of course, replacing the Huayra. But this spec is insane. So this colorway is basically reminiscent of the old Zonda Cinque. I believe they had 5 coupes and 5 roadsters, but there were some, maybe, I don't even know how many, but there were some that had this exact spec with the orange over black carbon and the orange central stripe and the orange trimming on the wheels there. That looks so cool. I love that. That might be one of my favorites of the show here. It's like combining the styling cues of both the Huayra and the Zonda, using a Zonda colorway that was made famous by one of the special models at the end of the Zonda line. That is immense. Pictures won't do this justice. And then moving along So we got a Bugatti Chiron Per Sport, the most aggressive trim of the Chiron before you get to the super sport models. And then you have Lamborghinis here. We have a Centenario and a Sian. Centenario, one of 20 coupes, 20 roadsters to be exact. And Sian, one of 63 in a crazy colorway here, sort of chameleon paint bleeding from white to purples and blues towards the back. And then we have Ferrari here, LaFerrari next to an SB3 Daytona. Some of the V12 supercars. Daytona not officially part of it, that's part of the Icona series vehicles, but many people consider it a good spiritual successor to the LaFerrari. Very cool to see that. And then I see even more, if we pan over here, we're gonna have to go around the front here. We have another Utopia, finished in a crazy exposed, like blue, almost violet carbon. That is super cool. You can just spin around to the front here. So there's the Utopia. Yeah, it looks purple from this angle. That is cool. And then this is, we saw this at Goodwood Festival of Speed a few years ago. This is the Eccentrica Diablo Resto Mod vehicle. Diablo brought into the modern age in the Resto Mod craze. And then a Gunther Werks Speedster. And the Singer 21C there. The central driving position hypercar. This is the Rattlesnake edition with the green exposed carbon and the red accents. Wild machine here. Let's go look at the rear end. I think they're making under 100 of these. Singer based out of California. Look at that rear end. That is insane. So this is the track spec of the Singer 21C. They have a low drag version for high speed runs called I think the VMAX model. But this is the track version. Here's the rear of the Gunther Werks Speedster, full exposed carbon, based on the 993, 911, of course, and the Eccentrica rear end. You can see the changes they've made to the entire rear fascia and the taillights and just modernizing the Diablo's look. And just look at this lineup of Ferraris here, starting with the legendary F40 LM, the Le Mans spec conversion of the famous F40. So cool. Open space here, and then 360 Challenge Stradale, followed by a 430 16M Scuderia, the first open top track special version in Ferrari's V8 mid-engine lineup before we got things like the 458 Aperta, Speciale Aperta, and the 488 Pista Spider. We had this, the 16M. Very interesting spec as well, white over red. And then we have the new 296 GT3 car that Ferrari has been racing in WEC and IMSA, out on display next to an old F355 Challenge. And this is an F512M in Giallo Modena, the final iteration of the Testarossa you can see there under the wrapping. The original iteration of the Testarossa, which then followed by the 512 TR before we got this in the mid-90s with the fixed headlights, updating was effectively the unchanged shape and silhouette of the Testarossa, but modernizing it here in the rear end as well with different lighting. Many people agree this is the best iteration of the Testarossa before it got discontinued. We saw a red one of these at the curated showroom, so cool to see another one out here in yellow, what looks to be fully original. Very cool. We have a silver Enzo next to a red F50. Just missing an F40 and a 288 GTO to complete the line. Something under wraps there. And then an 812 Competizione next to a 599XX car. One of the first XX program vehicles from Ferrari. This looks to be an Evo package vehicle with the extra aero and the massive rear wing. I'm not sure how many of these they converted or how many of them got the Evo package. I think there were only around 30 599XX cars for the track-only clientele program, of course. All right, some awesome Porsches out here on the show field, starting with this. It's a 964 Carrera RS, exceptionally rare car from the 964 generation, and one of only 10 in this mint green color, believed to be one of only 10 in this color. And it looks insane. I've seen mint green before on some GT cars. Was never expecting to see it on a Carrera RS, but that looks pretty damn striking and bold. Not for everybody, but even matching mint green interior seat backs and other trim components. Super cool. We have a number of 930 turbos out. We also have this roof BTR. Very cool to see that. We have the Everati electric conversion to this Carrera 2 Coupe. Not for everybody, but cool to see that here as well. We have this yellow with green decal 911R. We have a 993 Carrera RS in Guards Red. White 959, some more 930 turbos in the center there, and then we have a roof Yellowbird. Not that you would know with this one being fully blacked out, but this is a 1990 CTR nicknamed the Yellowbird. And then we have a flat bow 930 turbo cab.
This is an interesting
Very
case.
cool.
The Royal Ceremonial vehicles for the 50.4.
Wow, the Aston Martin Bulldog show car. Look at that. Insane. Imagine if Aston Martin actually built this back in the day. Full-length gull-wing doors, constructed in the late 70s by Aston Martin in the height of the wedge era. Look at this. Look how much of the sill, the entire sill, disappears with the door when it's open, and you get these narrow seats. Look at that tiny little shifter. Wow, super retro. Tiny foot box for your feet there. Super low to the ground. And you get windows here on the side looking into the open engine bay. Wow. Here's a dream car of mine, the AMG Hammer in sedan form. You could get it in coupe and wagon as well. Extremely limited numbers from the pre-merger AMG days of Mercedes-Benz. Any Hammer is incredible. Not sure which one I would pick if I had to choose just one of the three. Maybe the coupe. I'm a big coupe guy. But the wagon and the sedan are equally badass. Just look how sinister that looks. Love that.